hindi tayo nasusuportahan natin ng mga bossing natin. Okay? Support issues will lead to delays, will lead to diversion of resources, and will also lead to termination. Okay? Pag wala tayo ng support. 8.2, support issues can be attributed to target benefits are not clear to some sponsors. Okay? Paano po na-address yan? Kaya po meron yung rational or background section ng proposal natin. Doon dinidiscuss yung intention. Okay? Doon dinidiscuss po yung intent ng project. So yung kailangan ng intindihan ng objectives of course. Changes in the sponsor or management, and then the project design is not clear. Project design is not clear. Support issues can be mitigated by having a project steering committee. Okay, having a project steering committee. Ibig sabihin po yung steering committee pag sa project, mas pataas po siya sa project manager. Ang project manager, day-to-day implementation of the project. Ang steering committee, sila yung mga major decisions and directions of the project. Okay? So may mga steering committee ba kayo sa division? Steering problem. Okay. Then communicate the framework and implementation plan. Okay. If the project can afford, saan yan, joke lang po yan ang communication. Kasi ganun yung ginagawa ng mga yung mga funding agencies po, pag medyo alam nila tagilin sila sa suporta sa sa mga management. Okay. Yung ginagawa, na kayo sa Australia, na kayo dito. Okay. Hindi ba, mag-benchmark kayo. But it's actually to generate support. Okay? Generate support during the start. Okay? Number 9, okay? This is medyo similar sa bottlenecks. Okay? Implementation, delay. Okay? Discuss natin scope dates. And be mitigated by reporting of issues included in the presentation of status reports. Okay? And then determine the possible response. Number 10, okay? Recurring problems. Ito yung ayaw natin mangyari. Okay? Sa atin, sa mga schools, if problems are continuing, will lead to implementation failure or termination of the program, and then confusion and anger among stakeholders and then staff. Number 10, can be attributed by to poor program design, project design, poor understanding of intent, and necessary requisite mechanisms are not in place. Okay, are not in place. Marinig po ito. Okay, MNE not working for program leadership. Okay, so how do we mitigate this one? Okay, startup po ulit. Okay, startup. Okay, if the program manager is a problem, replace. Okay, terminate. Okay, terminate na natin. Pag ulit-ulit po yung problema. Okay? Pag ulit-ulit po yung problema, yung MNE is not working. Okay. Ito pong next ito po yung mga meron tayo dapat. Okay? Yung SWOT nakuha na natin. So, tingnan po natin ito dapat marunong tayo dito sa atas. Okay? If you take notice, lahat halos no pag-solve sa problem na diniscuss natin kanina, nasa scope. Okay? Nasa stakeholders din. Okay? And then, element at risk. So, tingnan natin siya. So, scoping. Scoping, essentially, scoping is intentions and coverage of the program or project being addressed. So tayo, as implementer, as TA, kailangan magaling tayo sa scoping. It pertains to objectives, targets, and strategies of the program, okay? And then needs, including internal issues and then contextual factors. Okay? Ito yung meron tayo dapat na scheme. Okay? Scope management, meaning everyone, kung i-recognize po natin ang objective of scope management, everyone in the team share a common understanding of the program's intention coverage, and the issues that arise. So tayo as a team, kung TA, dapat pare-pareho understanding natin ang isa ang gagawin natin sa baba. Okay? Including yung issues. Pare-pareho sa mga PAP members, yung client, at yung external stakeholders. Okay? Pare-pareho tayo sa established scope and issue. Okay? Activities included in the program design, and those excluded. Mamaya po, yung scoping, gagawin. Kahapon ginawa natin sa scoping. Scoping yung intention pala. Okay? Mamaya, i-direction natin siya dun sa PA plan natin. Okay? Yung ginagawa po natin are scoping. So, papansin nyo, yung critical element is scoping. And as a stakeholder, kailangan po tayo doon. Strong tayo doon. Okay? So, lapasan na siya. Troubleshooting, ito po yung managing the stakeholders. Okay? Marami po tayo stakeholders. Internal and then external. Okay? So, pag sinabi natin stakeholders, this can be any individuals, groups, people, agencies, relevant to the achievement of the objective of the project. Okay? Those that will be affected positively and negatively by our intervention, and those who can influence or hinder the situation. Okay? So, part of your work as PA is basically managing these people. Okay? At times, you don't need to resolve anything, just have to manage these people. Okay? Work na. So, analysis of the stakeholders, why? Okay? Bakit? Stakeholders will help address the need. Okay? It will help us maximize benefits to be derived in solving a problem. But stakeholders may also be threatened by the proposed interventions. Lalo pag may tinahan tayo bago. Okay? And of course, kung nakakatulong sila, pwede rin sila rin yung issue. Sila yung cost ng bottleneck. Sila rin yung cost ng bottleneck.
Narala ko yun sa school. Pinapipin sa yung barangay council kasi sa solar electrification. Nahirapan sila kasi yung barangay chairman pa na may engineering ito.
So, ngayon, kung ipamanage po natin lahat ng stakeholder, ipamanage natin lahat ng stakeholder, medyo mahirap po. So, dapat meron tayong team ay kung sino lang talaga yung ipamanage po natin. Alright? So, the next slide that I'm going to show you is basically classifying them. Okay, classifying them. Sino ba yung mga stakeholders? So, kung gagawin po natin in terms of power and then in terms of interest. Okay? Low interest, high interest, low power, and then high power. Okay? Ano po? Kung ang stakeholder daw ay nandito sa level na to, monitor, just do a minimum engagement sa kanila. Low power and then low interest in the program. Hindi na natin sila papansinin. Okay? Baka mamaya, ang promote bigla yan, maglagay sa position of power niya. Okay? So just monitor. This is a business group. Alam mo, things change. So just minimum engagement. Okay? So meron pang gano'n sa school level, na minimum engagement pa tayo sa mga sample ba? Mga minimum engagement tayo kung nasa school level tayo. Okay, napendahan nyo pa, ano lang naman siya, low interest, then low power, huwag na natin masyado. Okay? Monitor lang natin, baka mamaya magulo. Okay? Kung magkaroon ng power. Hindi natin alam. No? Minsan yan, napansin, mamaya ba? keep them satisfied. So, sino po yun? Sample natin. So, sa trabaho natin. Hindi sila masyadong ganun na interesado sa programa natin, sa project natin, sa basic education, but they hold much power.
Diba si school,
Division, power, keep the division satisfied. Submit the reports. Tama yun, sir. Tama yun. Submit the reports. Ikaw naman, kayo naman. Sino yung mas mataas natin? Okay? So, tama yun. Tama po yung sample na yun. Okay? And then, high interest, but low power. Okay? Keep them informed. Meaning information na tayo sa kanila. Okay? So, essentially, when it comes now to managing, ito po yung kailangan natin to manage. Those who have high interest in what field we are implementing, and those that have high power. Okay? We need to manage them very closely. Okay? In my case, it can be, let's say, the secretary, as DMO, as a consultant. Okay? Kasi high interest and high power, so yun yung mga kailangan ko sila to manage. I will have to focus my communication strategies on this particular group. Meaning, iba-iba yung strategies natin, bawat target group. Okay? Bawat target group. Kaya tayo ng strategies. Alright? So this is an example of a stakeholder analysis matrix. Okay? Ang gusto kasi natin malaman, ano yung actions na gagawin natin. Kung keep satisfied, ang strategy ko gagawin. Okay? Kunwari, top management, high power, but low interest, ang function nila, set directions, ang interest and expectations, consistency with trust and priorities, keep them satisfied, make sure na align tayo palagi dun sa priorities nila. Ganun palagi ang communications natin sa kanila. Okay? Middle management, okay? High power, high interest, kasi ito yung galing natin. Okay? Functional growth is operation efficiency. Ang interest is magamit natin at magamit nila agad. Okay? Then manage them closely. Ibig sabihin, pag develop ng sistema, okay, kailangan ito nasa-satisfy mo agad. Okay? Pag meron mo develop ng kumari, information system, kahit anong outputs na develop natin, ilang level na yan, yung kailangan natin masatisfy agad. Halimbawa, may project external at ini-implement natin sa studio, ito si division na yun. Na kailangan ko masatisfy sa division, so yung output na nag-work. Okay? Yung output na nag-work. So dito, hindi na ako reporting dito, okay, dito, dapat ano yan, participatory approach natin sa lagi. In terms of doing things. Okay? Other offices, okay, low power, and then high interest. Okay, high interest. Meron din sila, pero more on them, for them is more on collaborations. Okay? Or collaborations. Keep them informed. Okay? So, just keep them informed sa nangyayari sa atin. So, ibig sabihin nakafocus tayo sa number 2. So, essentially, sino yung mga stakeholders that you need to manage closely. Okay? Sino yun? Meron ba silang capacity? Then we build their capacity. Okay? We make sure that they will have access to some of our resources natin. We provide them technical advice and we provide them sort of financial support. Kung kasama dun sa project. Okay? So, ito yung mga action points natin sa mga high power, high interest stakeholders. Okay? And then, we need to understand ano yung information requirements nila. Okay? Ano yung mga information kailangan nakakuha palagi niya? High power, high interest stakeholders. Okay? And then, ano yung form of communications na magaling sa kanila? Right? And then, of course, the timing and frequency of communication. Okay? ano po?
Yung sa IEP, no?
Oh. Yeah. So, part of your work as TA is managing now your stakeholders. Given po yan, part of the territory. So, kung may masungit, mas ulit, may masungit ng the region, may masungit tayo ng counterpart, okay, part of the thing that we need to address. Now, there will be cases wherein yung solution ay hindi naman sa atin magagaling. Pero tayo pwede magbigay ng solution in terms of expert. Okay? In terms of expert. Okay? So we will not be talking about how to procure. Okay? Pero just a guideline in terms of ano yung expert na i-recommend niyo sa school. Ha? May cases na gano'n eh. Yung expertise, yung competency wala sa akin. Okay? So mag-recommend tayo ng ano, si Ray, ilagay niyo dyan. Okay? Ilagay niyo dyan si Ray. So yun yung yun siya sa trabaho natin. Okay? Or external technical experts will address issues to provide critical interventions to ensure quality, input to ensure quality intervention. So may mga cases, hindi tayo yung, pero since tayo yung TA yung nagpa-facilitate, okay, hindi siya sa trabaho natin, we will have to lead them to the okay? So paano meron tayo mag-suggest ng expert? Okay, doon sa school level, o kaya sa division level. Right? So, pwede natin tingnan isa continue, isang expert na facilitator, isang expert sa subject matter. Okay? Mas maganda sana pareho yan kasi isang individual, but in most cases, hindi po yan magkasama sa isang individual. Okay? So, let's see the pros and cons na expert na kukunin natin. Okay? Kung kukuha tayo ng expert, pa rin kasi marami kasi. Okay. So, yeah. Okay. So, tingnan po natin ano yung pros and cons ng getting a expert. Expert lang. Okay. Let's get the pros and cons ng expert lang. Okay. Una-una, pag ang upside nito, ang positive nito, pag kumuha ka ng expert lang, yan yung ayaw na kailangan ng isang mathematics. Okay. So, kumuha ka ng expert sa mathematics, okay. Yan yung expert ngayon sa math. Kung kukuha ka sa science, okay, hindi ka kukuha ng political science. Diba? O ng behavioral science. Okay? Kukuha ka ng yung science talaga. Okay? So, yun yung mga advantage na ito. Kukuha tayo. Second, since expert yan, may credibility with the stakeholders. Okay? May credibility with the stakeholders. Third, may resources of many ideas. Sources of many ideas. And then four, that expert can solve the problems. Okay? Ability to solve a technical issue. Okay? And then number five, since expert yan yung maganda mag-transfer ng technology. Okay? Yan yung upside. Okay? Pero ito naman yung downside. Nagkukuha tayo na subject matter expert. Totally expert lang ha. Kaya nasa kabilang dulo. Number one, it doesn't follow yung effective communication facility. Okay? Naka-encounter na kayo kung isa nagre-lecture and nagkakatingin lang sa slide natin. Diba? Nakatingin lang sa slide at nakatingin lang sa computer. O kung sino-sino kinakausap, posible yun. Okay? So, pwede tayo maka-encounter na gano'n. Ako naka-encounter ako, mga nagbabasa lang. Yes, kinuha sila as expert, pero ginagawa nila, nagbabasa lang sila. Okay? Ineffective communication skills. Number 2 is parang walang facility ito for conflict management issues. Okay? Walang facility for conflict management issues. Pag nagkaroon ng conflict, may bisa-bisa rin na wala na, nagkaklambang na. Number 3, pwede yung overwhelm na ng technical jargon. Okay? Ang ano na, PCM, scoping, ng mga finish to start to finish, okay? Hindi ko ano, hindi ko diagram. I-overwhelm tayo ng technical jargon. Okay? And then, halos walang input sa participants. Okay? Halos walang input sa participants. Okay? Okay, number 5, will not go for exploring things. Okay, usually ako sila naka-expert mag-deliver na yun. Mag-deliver na yun. So, upside and then downside in terms of getting an expert. Okay? Ang gusto sana natin, may facilitation skills na. Okay? Diba? Of course, ang gusto natin dito yung gitna. Diba? May expertise, may facilitation skills din. Okay? But there are also cases, ang makukuha natin is just a facilitator. Okay? Pero, but of course, anong positive sa facilitator? Ang facilitator, neutral na perspective. Okay? Neutral na perspective. So, kung nagdi-discuss tayo, tama. Doon lang. Okay? Neutral na perspective niya. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, let them open up for participation. So, wala ka kung skill, wala ka, okay? Pero pwede naman, ang downside naman niya, limited understanding ng context. Okay? I don't know kung naka-encounter na kayo ng gano'n. Magaling sa facilitation skills, magaling mag-encourage sa participation, pero hindi naiintindihan yung context ninyo dahil sa invitation. Okay? Pag sinabi na, hindi ba, net enrollment rate namin, ganito eh. Hindi nyo na alam yung net enrollment rate na yun. Okay, pero kaya na kayo, yan nga, encourage para magsalita. Okay? It's focus on the process. Okay? Focus on the process. Right? But we not be able to address yung mga complex issues, yung mga technical issues. Kasi more on the process. How do you feel today? Okay? Do you feel satisfied with your output? Diba? Kahit mga tayo gano'n. Are you satisfied with what you have presented? Okay? Pero hindi ang output natin kung tama mo kami. Okay? Sasabihin lang natin sa hindi natin sa mga outputs natin. Right? Kahit kapag na kayo ganun lang. Okay. Number 3, encourages diverse input. So, ano po yan? Magaling mag-encourage. Okay? Kung may teachers dito, hindi malilap out of teachers sa usapan. Okay? Kasi lahat rin encourage niya. Right? And then, lack of credibility. Bakit ito yung nag-aaral sa planning, wala naman siyang planning expertise. Okay? Wala naman siyang planning expertise. Magaling lang palabas na. Okay? Promotes critical thinking. Okay? Promotes critical thinking. Then, adequate problem solving, of course, the facilitation skills. Right? Then, potential for frustration. Okay? Potential for frustration. Kasi nag-represent tayo, output, pero hindi naman nag-critique natin. Lahat ng present, tama. Okay? Lahat ng present, tama. Okay? Basta masaya tayo, okay. Of course, ayaw natin, ano yung sobra, ito naman din, yung sobra. Ang gusto natin, the one that we will suggest are both subject matter expertise and then have the facility to participate, convey the technology or the technique or the knowledge, and then the facility to encourage participation. Okay? Facility to encourage participation. Ang gusto natin yung sa gitna. Okay? So, yun yung hahanapin natin palagi sa gitna. Kasi nasa TA1 tayo, so dapat yung pupunin natin resource person will also be able to encourage yung schools natin to make decisions. Okay? Right. So, ano bang criteria natin? Kung ba tayo na insider o na outsider? Insider ba yung pupunin natin o outsider ba yung pupunin natin? So, may pros and cons din. Mag-insider at outsider. Okay? Ito na tayo sa insider. Insider, alam na alam yung situation o hindi natin maaaring siya. Okay? Walang then, alam nyo na yung mga strategies na nag-work. Okay? Alam nyo na yung mga strategies na nag-work at hindi nag-work. Okay? And then, of course, it's insider yan. It helps establish credibility and then trust. Right? Imagine pag insider lang ito natin sa school. And we'll be talking about curriculum, we will talk about, let's say, budget of work and so on and so forth. Tapos, nasa expert category, insider. Wala tayong problema sa credibility. Okay? And then, a big possibility na ma-align na kayo sa traditional goals. Okay? Downside. Okay? Pwedeng bias palagi. Yung mga session na gano'n mo ganitong training, kailangan ideas tayo, ideas generation tayo. Okay? So, potential for bias, over-emphasis on traditional methods, parang ayaw yung mabasa sa nakaugalian na dun sa loob ng organization. Limited outside perspective, maaaring hindi alam yung nangyayari sa ibang lugar. Okay? Sa ibang lugar, mga bagong mga trends. Okay? Resistance to change. And then, dependence and expertise. Insider, dependence and expertise. Okay. Posible yung mga participants, mag-depende lang sa expertise ng participant. Okay. Kasi insider naman yan. Susundin na rin natin ano sila sabi. Okay. Yun naman yung yun yung extreme, of course. Yun yung extreme. Okay. Looking at the outsider, ito naman po yung sa outsider. Okay? Upside the outsider can give you a fresh perspective. Okay? A new way of looking at things. Then, cross-industry knowledge. Sabihin, nakapunta ng Tesla, nakapunta ng Czech, nakapunta sa private school, bringing it to you, I am now able to give you a cross-industry knowledge. Okay? And then, since marami ko example na nakita, I'm in a position to challenge established norms. Okay? And then, it can be an opportunity for networking ng participants na sinabi sa labas. Okay? Kasi ako, recruit na sila. And then, impartial assessment. Okay? Let's look at the downside ng outsider. Lack of contextual knowledge. Okay? Do not know what's happening in your life. Resistance from stakeholders. Bakit yan? Hindi naman tinatay dyan. Hindi naman siya pinag-division. Okay? Misalignment with educational goals. Introducing. And then, maybe introducing a superficial solution. Lalo-lalo na medyo ko nag-leading towards facilitation. Okay? And then, it will take time to adapt. Naka-encounter na kayo siguro ito, mga natuturo ng problem tree, mga outsiders sa atin sa education. Hindi makabigay ng example sa education. Okay? So, ito rin yung mga tipo lahat tama din ng represent natin. Okay? So, yun naman yung downside. Okay? Kasi hindi pa nila naiintindihan magaling sa problem tree. Okay? Magaling sa problem tree, pero wala na experience magawa ng problem tree inside the organization. Okay? Inside the organization. So, as a PA, magbibigay kayo ng recommendations. This can be the our guide when suggesting PA. Okay? Does it follow? Okay? Does it follow na palagi tayo sa gitna lang? doesn't follow. You need to understand the maturity level of the target group na bibigyan assistance. Okay? Depende rin po yan sa tawag natin maturity level ng mga ano. Kung yung mga tawag dito yung mga participants, mga schools at mga students, mataas naman ang maturity level, then you can get a subject matter expert. Okay, yung fully expert lang para naman ito sila. When I say mataas ang maturity level, yung mabilis umintindi. Okay? Mabilis umintindi kahit sinong tingin ka ng harap mo dyan, makukuha nila yung technology. Okay? But if you have, let's say, mga students, mga participants, na medyo doing the area, doing the field, okay? Doing the field, then probably the facilitator or in between is a better expert that you can have. Okay? That you can have. Right? So, ito po guide natin sa pagkuha ng resources. Huwag kayo tayo basta-basta pagkuha ng resources. Check natin ano ba yung maturity level ng mga participants natin. Binigyan niya ng technical assistance. Okay? Technical assistance. Right? Last item, we need to look at risk assessment. Okay? Risk assessment. Project risk management is part of our, risk. Risk is the management process of avoiding. Okay? Pagdating po sa risk, pagdating po sa threats, okay? Pagdating po sa threats, hindi po natin nasusolve ang threat. Okay? Ina-address na po, nag-work na lang po tayo sa threat. Okay? Question po, so anong pagkakaiba po ng risk versus sa threat? Ano sinigarin nila? Pag sinabi pong risk, ibig sabihin, si risk po ay hindi pa nangyayari. Risk siya eh. Pag nangyari na yan, issue na yan. Okay? Issue na yan. Kapag tatanong kayo, what are the issues that you have encountered? Okay? Ang issues na encountered, binahakan na ito. Okay? Nangyari na yan. Okay? Pero if you're being asked risk, there's another threat na mamay. Okay? So, ano pagkakaiba ni risk na ang threat? Ano sa milano? Actual cause of threat tsaka si risk na-interchange lang. Okay? Pero si risk po is actually yung rating ng threat. Yung threat ba ay mangyayari o hindi? Okay? Rating nila yan, high, low. Okay? Yun ang po siya. No? Hindi lang po natin ng aking okay, so threats, these are factors beyond your control. The external siya. Dapat so threats, these are factors beyond your control. Okay? It could affect how your efficiency of your implementation. It could also affect the benefits. Okay? Sources and threats, critical, okay? Economic, social, technological, legal, and then environmental. O yung PESEL. PESEL. Okay? Now, we assess yung probability of impact to the project. Yun na yung risk. Yun yung hinahanapin natin ng risk. Okay? Not all threats are mataas ang risk. So we will have to assess yung probability and importance ng kada threat natin. Okay? Ulit, okay? Pertains to external factors beyond the control of the implementers. The realization of these factors is important to the achievement of the objectives. Okay? So, kailangan importante dun sa atin, kumbaga kailangan relevant dun sa gusto natin sa achieve. Okay? These external factors or threats are assessed to determine the level of risk. Okay? The level of risk. The project design is to assess or revise back the risk coming from these external factors. Okay, so ito pala yung definition ko ng threat at ng risk. Okay? So potential event or condition that will affect efficiency and effectiveness of your project implementation. It's a potential for loss or damage in the event, of course. Risk naman, potential for damage. Okay? Combination of probability and impact of the threat. Higher impact, higher probability means more risk exposure. Okay? More risk exposure. Pag gumagawa tayo ng project proposal, okay? Di ba sa mga project proposal, naglalagay din ng risk? Sa TDB, pinagawa na kayo ng risk sa TDB. Anong nilalagay natin na risk? High impact, high probability, o low impact, low probability, o lahat? So, ano po nilalagay natin? Lahat ng classic risk. Okay? Oral diagram sa session natin ngayon. Now, pag pinag-usapan natin risk sa context ng project management, yung risk din, may timing yan. They don't happen at the same time. Okay? Merong risk, remember ulit yung dichotomy natin ng implementation and operation. Merong risk, pag nagsisimula tayo, may risk. Kunwari, nagsisimula tayo ng PA sa isang school, may mga preconditions tayo, may mga external factors that can affect, okay, that can affect yung gagawin natin. No? So, iba yung risk na mangyayari dito, iba din siya. Alright? Second, kung nagko-conduct na tayo ng PA, o nag-implement na tayo ng project, may mga risk na pwedeng mangyari while we are implementing. Okay? Kunwari, pag pumunta tayo sa school, ano yung mga risk na pwede natin ma-encounter? Okay? Ano yung mga risk na pwede natin ma-encounter kung pumunta na tayo sa school, mag-implement na tayo? Okay? The risk of accident, flooding, of course, yung nangyari sa peace and order. Okay? Yung po yung mga encounter natin. Alright? So, ibig sabihin, yung mga risk factors dito will affect, okay, will affect the implementation of your activities. As compared now, with the risk factors dito, ito maapektuhan lang yung simula ko. Kung baga, hindi na makakapagsimula unless yung risk na yan ay mawala o hindi mangyari. Okay? Dito naman, yung risk factors dito can affect the implementation of your project, your program. Right? Then, may mga type of risk na deliver pag matapos na yung project. Okay? Ano naman yan? These are the type of risk that will affect yung results. Okay? Yung results ng project mo. Okay? Pwede, feeding program, nag-generate ng nag-gain ng weight, nag-normalize sila, pero ano yung risk na pwede mawala yung benefit na yun? Diba? May risk na pwede mawala yung benefit na yun. Okay? And then may risk din na titignan tayo, long term. Okay, long term. Okay? Affecting sustainability. Okay? So, kung pakita-divide ng risk, hindi lang po isa tinitignan natin. Lahat pwede tinitignan natin in a timeline perspective. Okay? In a timeline perspective. Right? Okay. So, let's classify risk. Okay? Let's classify risk. Maganda po itong nakuha ko from Koblenz Consulting. Kinasify na yung risk into puppies, tigers, alligators, and replicants. Okay? Puppies, tigers, alligators, and replicants. So, classifying ng risk, we look at the probability and then the importance of the impact. Okay? Sabi nila, pag low probability, low importance, these are, happy muna tayo, puppies muna tayo. High probability, low impact. Ang sinasabi dito is that, yung puppy daw, pag puppy yan, makulit yan, kung ano makakagat yan. Okay? Pero pag laki yan, tawag dito, magiging matino na yan. Okay? So, ang sinasabi dito, konting training lang yan, maayos siya. Ibig sabihin, kung may risk tayong gano'n, medyo konting alos lang, hindi masyadong makakaroon ng damage sa akin. Okay? Low importance, high probability na mangyayari. Okay? Since mataas yung probability na mangyayari siya, aayusin natin. Okay? Kung kailangan natin ng konting training, konting coordination, we will be doing it kasi mataas yung probability na mangyayari siya. Although low importance. Hindi naman natin gagastos na talaga natin. Okay? So let's go to the kittens. Kittens, ano naman ang characteristics ng kittens? So, maliliit. Makulit siya, kulit din. Okay? Baka mahirap i-train, pero mahirap i-training. Kasi sabi dito, since it's low importance and low probability, okay? Ibig sabihin daw nito, huwag ka na mag-aksay ng panahon, i-train pa yan. Okay? Paglaki niyan, maayos din yan. Okay? Huwag ka na mag-aksay ng panahon, gawin mo yan. So, in this context, low probability and low importance, huwag na natin ilagay sa plano. Okay? Bakit? Bakit hindi na importante ilagay natin sa plano? Ba't hindi na pala, kaya huwag na natin ilagay sa listing ng risk natin? Why? More than that, what will be the implications? Ba't inilagay pa natin ito sa document natin yung mga risk natin? The impressions to be that masyadong maraming risk. Ba't nilagay pa natin sa listahan? Diba? If I am SES, I am not going to approve this project because this project is risky. It's very risky. So, ang galing pa na yan, hindi na siya sasama. Okay? Hindi na siya sasama sa plano ko. Let's go now to the tigers. High probability, high importance. Okay? Ibig sabihin, isang situation to, mataas ang posibilidad na mangyari at very important na. Kunwari, flooding. Kung nag-flood na sa lugar na yan, there's also another tendency na bumabakawin yan. Okay? Bumabakawin yan. So, sinabi nito, tiger siya. Okay? Ibig sabihin daw, these are dangerous animals and must be utilized as soon as possible. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, itong high probability, high impact, ibig sabihin, meron ka nang gawin agad. Ha? Gawin mo na agad yan. Go around it immediately. Okay? Go around it immediately. Ibig sabihin, sa project design mo, sa project proposal mo, i-address mo na sa project proposal mo. Okay, let me repeat. Yung mga high probability, high impact, i-address mo na sa proposal mo. Okay? Of course, hindi mo masolve siya, pero meron pa nang ilalagay ng mga message para ma-counter na siya. Okay? Then the last one, low probability and then high importance. Okay? Ang alligators daw, ang alligators and characteristics, they are territorial. Okay, they are territorial. Kung magiging careful ka lang, na huwag mag-stray dun sa territory nila, we're okay. Sabihin, i-monitor lang natin siya. Okay? I-track lang natin siya, i-monitor lang natin siya. Right? Yun yung now, wag gagawa kayo ng risk matrix. Wag pinapalagawa kayo ng risk matrix. Alright? Anong ilalagay natin sa risk matrix? Anong quadrant? Si chicken, si puppy, si tiger, si alligators. Si tiger, si alligators, kittens, si puppies. Sir, zoom na lang para save sa Unang-una, huwag ka rin ilagay lahat. Kasi pag nilagay mo lahat sa risk matrix mo, ang impression is that your project is very risky. Okay? Ibig sabihin lang, so hindi natin lalagay lahat yun. Or even, hindi mo na ilalagay. Okay? Don't suggest as well to lalagay mo si Papis. Okay? So dalawa na lang tayo. Anong ilalagay natin sa risk matrix? Okay? Ang ilalagay po natin, alam ko, tama ko yung input sa inyo, no? Ilalagay po natin, o pareho yung input sa inyo. Ilalagay natin sa risk matrix ay alligators. Okay? Dahil mababa yung probability na mataas yung impact. Ang nilalagay ko sa risk matrix, hindi na monitor ko kasi yung kaya nilalagay ko. Pero, ang pinaka-importante, si Tiger ay kasama na sa design natin. Okay? Kasama na sa design natin. Para ba, kung sigurado ka na babahagi mo, okay? Ang gagawin natin sa design natin, pagkaasan mo ng eskwelahan, mumonitor ko pa ba siya? Magkagawa pa ba ako ng risk matrix para ma-determine ko kung mangyayari siya? Eh, high probability na siya, high impact siya. Sinasama na natin sa design natin yun. Eh, pagkaiba po yun yung zero probability sinasama sa design, ibig sabihin, kasama na sa interventions na gagawin mo sa project. Yung risk matrix kasi, minomonitor mo lang ang natin pinapagawa mo. Minomonitor mo siya kung mangyayari. Okay? Kasi may probability na mangyayari. Okay? May probability na mangyayari. So, kaya, ang nilalagay sa risk matrix, kaya yung pinapagawa mo, for monitoring purposes, na pag mangyayari siya, ito yung gagawin ko. Bakit na nakalagay sa inyo? Ito yung gagawin ko. Pero, yung activities na gagawin ninyo ay wala namang kasama sa implementation plan. Tama? Parang ano lang doon, pag mangyayari yan, ito yung activities na gagawin namin. Okay? Pero yung nasa project design, kasama na sa design natin. Diba? So, ang rule of thumb natin dyan, okay? Ang rule of thumb natin dyan is that, okay? Ang rule of thumb natin dyan is, if high probability, high impact, i-address na natin. Alam natin kung nangyayari eh. Tapos importante ko sa akin, let's do something about it. Huwag na natin i-monitor. Okay? Ang i-monitor natin ay yung medium risk. Ito, medium risk ko eh. Yan yung i-monitor natin. Yan yung ilalagay ko sa risk matrix. And again, hindi na gano'n nagturo sa akin, basta lang maglagay tayo ng risk matrix. Okay? Right? Ang problema ngayon, pag ilalagay mo yung high probability, high impact, hindi mo i-address. Alam mo na mangyayari. Parang bukas, pupunta tayo sa, punta tayo sa group. Okay? Pag hindi ulan. Okay? Ito yung assumption natin. Punta tayo sa group pag hindi ulan. Eh what if, ngayon pa lang malakas na ulan? Tapos ang forecast ng ulan. So ano yung risk na ulan bukas? As. Diba? So, ang gagawin natin, mag-re-replan na tayo. Mag-a-adjust na tayo, adjust na yung design.
Kaya pag-uwi ka sa niya, pag high, rescue. Pag low, rescue. Masaya. So, hindi.
Kaya po hindi na po maraming ano yan. Medyo hindi tama yung input. Hindi kasi pinaklarify. Basta lang, maglalagay na lang ng risk. Tapos high probability. Tapos parang palagi pag high probability, high impact, lagay mo yung sa monitoring sa risk matrix mo. Hindi po, pag high impact, high probability, revise yung design. Revise yung plan. No, do something about it. Do something about it. Agad, ulit-ulit po. Kung alam natin ng mga schools dito ay binabaha. Okay? Ang plano na natin sa school na yan is relocation. Okay, nag-aspect ko mataas. Diba? Pero may mga cases na hindi natin alam. Yun ang nalagay natin sa students. Kasi yun yung i-monitor natin. Yun yung i-monitor natin. So, yun po sa So, kunwari po, ang ginawa namin ito is COVID na. So, magkakaroon pa ba uli na lockdown? Yung red. Okay? Yung red. Okay? Parang mali po ito. Sorry. Mali yan. Possible. Ay, kasi makapwede sa mobilization activities ng communities. So, ang effect natin is, dahil hindi ka makapag-community mobilization, ito yung mangyayari. Okay? Pero ang risk assessment natin, probability ng mga around 2022, 2023, medyo bumababa na, di ba? Yung probability na magla-lockdown. Importance, yes. So, classification, risk assessment, medium. Okay, monitor lang natin. Okay, pero, kung high probability, high importance siya, hindi na ako magagawa nito, online na gagawin ko. Di ba? Hindi ko na siya ilalagay sa list ko. Pupunta na agad ako sa lisan ko. Sasabihin ko sa lisan ko, start ako, online na tayo. Okay? Ano po? Okay. Calamities, typhoons, floods. Okay? Right? Medium 10, medium siya. Monitor closely, conduct alternative site analysis. Yun na yung mga ko, gagawin ko. But I will be monitoring it. Okay? So, yun po, yun ang gagawin ko. So, medium risk lang po. Yes, po.
Honestly, I try to digital during this time. What I learned, sexual trafficking, how are we going to identify risks? Actually, meron siya, you can report kung meron siya some colors. Probability and then is using. But is it, we need to identify, for example, this flooding. What is the magnitude and what is the probability? And then, for you, we do give self-assessment. We base it on our own self. For example,
Let's see kung saan nagsabalin yung
yes, sir. So flood county, when it comes to magnitude, sa isang flooded area, flood-prone area, mataas talaga yun. Tapos yung kanyang probability mataas din. So, the highest necessary is 5. The scale is scale of 1 to 0.45. 5 is the highest, not the lowest. So in my case, I would rate 5 for flood. Kasi still not all the way sa flood area. When it comes to probability, 5 din siya. Kasi, yun as low din siya. So, may tendency na mag-flood din siya. So, 5 times 5, the probability niya is kaya kasama siya doon sa identified risk namin. Yun po ang, kumbaga yun ang learning, kaya,
well, tama mo na. Identification of the risk. But at some point, kasi since hindi naman tayo nagagawa ng simply just classifying risk for the sake of classifying risk, di ba? So kung na-classify na natin yung risk at na-separate na natin what is very, very high and versus the medium, suddenly now, we will be doing something about it. So ang high probability, high impact, you need to do something about it. So ibig sabihin nun, I'm going to do something about it. Instead of putting it down in my risk monitor, remember, instead of putting it in my risk monitor, I am now going to plan in order to mitigate the effect of that particular. Kasi mataas po yung probability.
The result of our risk assessment must be done together with the situational analysis.
Kasi kung virtual situation analysis, so kasi video is manage na. Ganito po kasi yung nagiging issue dyan.
Kaya sa paggawa ng contingency plan, basic po na is risk assessment. Kasi yung high risk, di ba, dapat priority yan. Yan ang gagawa ng contingency plan.
Yung high probability and high risk. Yes, gagawa ka na no?
So, dapat, di na lang, dapat bago, wala kung pilit ka lang yung plan, pag-identify mo yung risk, mag-isip ka na, ano
yung high risk, meron tayong gagawin. May actions na gagawin. Yung medium risk pa, subukan natin ano. Anong implication? Okay, anong implication pag yung medium risk ay gagawan din natin ng actions? Anong implications? Bigyan ko. Anong implication pag yung high probability, high importance ay gagawa natin ng intervention? Anong implication? Cost. Cost. Diba? Cost yan.
Yung time.
Cost yan. May implication sa cost yan. Okay.
Kasi parang nakikita, ano na lang kahit mga dismiss lang.
Oo. Okay, so yung cost yan. Pangalawa, so second, pag sinama natin pati yung medium probability sa proposal natin, ano implication? Tataas yung cost. Diba? Tataas yung cost. Okay? Paano pag hindi nangyari? Eh, may probability na hindi nangyari. So, yung utilization mo ngayon eh, pababa. Diba? Okay? So, please, to take a look at around. Yung risk management po is already an integral part of the planning process. The reason we are actually planning is take note of this. The reason we are planning is basically to reduce the element of risk. Ready ko? The reason we are planning is to reduce the element of risk. Okay? So it's parang risk management is already part of planning. Kaya lang, ganito po yung nangyari. Okay? Ganito yung nangyari. Dati po, kung nagpapagawa ng project proposal, hindi kasama si risk matrix. Hindi na nagpapalagay ng risk matrix. Okay? Bakit? Kasi doon sa plano mo, ina-address ko na yung matataas yung risk. Okay? Pero eventually, nagkaroon din ng mga polisiya sa government, sa nila, kailangan lahat ng proposal natin may risk matrix. Okay? So we don't need to reconcile. We need to reconcile our plan, the planning document na ina-address as the risk with the risk matrix. Ano ang pagkakaiba nila? Okay, ano ang pagkakaiba nila? Kasi dinagdag siya sa requirements of project development eh. So dapat, klaro tayo, kung hindi mo tignan yung pagkakaiba nila, duplicate na yung risk matrix mo. Kaya ka nga nagplano is to reduce the element of risk. Ano ba? Kung marami tayong non-readers dito at hindi natin pinagplanuhan pa paano i-address siya, ano mangyayari? Pataas at taas din na. Diba? Kung maraming mga bata na hindi marunong magbasa dahil tutulong, okay? Yun yung risk. Beyond our control, dahil tutulong, okay? Alam natin tutulong na, hindi natin ilagay sa proposal natin sa reading program. Yung reading, most likely, hindi mo rin siya So, ilalagay na natin sa design. Kasama na pala sa design to reduce the element of risk. Okay? Kaya pumasok yung requirement ng risk matrix. Kada proposal, lalagay ng risk matrix. The appropriate thing to do sa risk matrix is not that you do the high probability, high impact. Kasi your project is already doing something about it. Ang mamonitor na lang natin is the medium risk. Kasi yung medium risk, like the alligator, sila yung probability pwede hindi mangyari, pero pag mangyari, patay yung project. Yun yung tawag na killer assumption. Okay? Yun yung killer assumption. Pag hindi mo siya i-address, kaya yung project natin. Okay? So, I hope this is a new perspective sa inyo pagdating dun sa risk matrix. Ang practice, lahat nilalagay. Kahit tayo boss ko sa mga foreigner mga boss, pag naglalagay ng risk matrix, pati yung DepEd, risk yun. Pag nilalagay risk na, sila yung DepEd, sila yung stakeholder, you need to do something about it. So, minamonitor kasi yung risk, hindi lang po yung hindi lang yung project yung minamonitor. Minamonitor din natin yung risk. Yung risk na simula, yung risk pag nag-i-implement, tsaka yung risk pag natapos yung project. Minamonitor nila. Okay? Minamonitor nila. Right? So, snippets of natin. So, try ko, ako ang suggestion sa inyo, try also to research search sa Google, may AI. Anong type ng risk yung nilalagay sa plano? Ano yung sa AI?
Pero nagtutut ba ito sa contingency plan?
Kaya, di ba kaya ka nagpo-contingency na kasi mangyayari eh. Mangyayari siya eh.
Sir, inside. Parang nakita namin, kaya pala, marami tayong mga programs, projects, plans na na-implement na hindi ka nais-nais or not very satisfactory yung result is because we still don't consider the probable risk occurring in the implementation. Parang nakita namin ba, kaya pala hanggang ngayon ganyan pa rin. Kasi we don't consider the risk as part of it. Bakit ngayon ka lang natin?
Continual process na naman. Ulitin ko, the very essence of planning is to reduce the element of risk. Kaya tayo ito plano parang, ganito punta tayo Japan. Ito yung mga pupuntahan natin. Kaya tayo nagpaplano is para, maligaw. Para efficient yung ano natin. So yung risk na maligaw tayo, risk na pumasok, is actually meant to reduce the risk. Yung very essence ng planning. Ano po yan sa ito? Ano pa ako? Observer and student of project management and planning for the last 30 years. Project management as operations management. Quality management. Hindi naman si quality management. Pagkakala ko lang din Tutangin mo kay risk management. Ganun din Medyo may mga slant lang sila. Ang slant ng project scope. Ang slant ni operations. Ang slant ni quality management, focus on quality. Okay, slant ni risk. So in essence, they're actually the same. Ang problema rin natin is kanya-kanyang expertise. May expertise may expert sa risk management, may expert sa project management, may expert sa quality management, sa operations management. Gusto nila i-print lahat ng ano nila maging relevant sila sa atin. Kaya sinasabi nila, hindi ko yan. Pero kung titignan niyo po at the bottom line, airport management. Diba? Airport management. Alam tayo ng management sa college o sa graduate school. Tuturo sa loob, fundamentals ng management. Pag binigyan mo kayo ng mga na to, isa ko may mga sila lang mga. So yun nakakatawa kasi tulad ngayon, UMS. Perfect extreme management. It's starting different from management. It's project management. Okay? Anyway, that's what I want you to understand pagdating sa risk management. You need to address the high probability, high impact. Okay? You need to include it now in your design. Okay? In your design. Input natin siya sa design natin. Do something about it. Okay? Kumbaga, alam mo na papalpar tayo because of this external factor, magre-design tayo. Question, what if yung titles, high probability, high impact, what if we cannot redesign the project because of the high probability, high impact? What do we do? Nasa planning stage pa tayo. What if, based on our analysis, the high probability, high impact, okay, we cannot redesign? What do we do? Or even kahit sa implementing na lang, what if there's a high probability, high impact factor that redesigning the project is virtually not feasible? What do we do? We terminate kasi yung probability mataas. Kaya medyo probability na, monitor lang natin. Kung sakasakaling mangyari yan, okay? Kung sakasakaling gagawin. Yan yung mga gagawin. Yun yung management. Kaya lang, yung mga activities mo dito ay hindi kasama sa implementation plan mo. Diba? Kasi yung implementation, pag nilagay mo ito sa implementation plan mo, nagdagdag sa cost ka. Pero nagbabantay lang ako at hindi lang natin. Okay? That's on basic management. I have a question. Question, sir? I have a question. Okay. Let's stop here. Good morning. 11:40, and that's our lunch.